But as we stream live at kdkradio.com, wearing his Duquesne Dukes attire, the counselor, a big week with that practice that is Diolus Law, big sponsor of the Feast of the Seven Fishes, a man about town, and he even drives a Tesla. He's done it all. And, of course, MVP of the softball league, too. Can't forget that. You can't keep Russell Wilson. And without George Pickens, this team is nothing. They have no running game. I read today that Dan Moore's thinking about a $4 million deal to leave town and go to the New Orleans Saints. I don't know what they do, but I don't think the Steelers are going to beat Kansas City, and I'm going to go on record in saying that right now, and I won't take them as my pick. And I also think the Bengals want to be a spoiler, so I think they're going to lose 4 straight before they get into the postseason. And I think Mike Tomlin needs to be questioned as far as his offensive ability when it comes to getting this football team doing something. The offensive coordinators continue to get blamed. The defensive coordinator continues to get blamed. You had a bunch of guys, Jackson and Elliott, banged up in the secondary. Joey Porter left with a calf injury. You get a pick 6 right after Mika Fitzpatrick pulls off a Houdini. The Steelers did not deserve to lose that game. They literally stunk yesterday. How are you?
Well, I don't know about stink. Did you watch The Grinch or something? The stink, stank, stunk
Listen,
thing? I mean, it was a good football game.
Throttled, and they did get throttled. We just have to say it the way it is. The only chance of this team competing moving forward, and you know I love the Steelers, they've got to keep Justin Fields. Russell Wilson cannot run, and without the deep threat, he did get one to Calvin Austin. He's not the future. He's 36 years of age. Don't give him any money. Even if you have to run the table and lose a little bit to get a draft pick, so be it, or maybe even take a quarterback in the first round. But they look mediocre yesterday.
Rob, you're ignoring the pregnant elephant in the room with regard to the poor play of Russell Wilson. The stupidity of him trying to run the ball into the end zone and getting blasted at the 5-yard line. He looked like he got hit in a car wreck and fumbled the ball. That was the worst play of the day. All he has to do is slide. If he slides and gets down, that was a 14-point swing on that play. That was huge.
It was huge. They just were very unimpressive. And Derrick Henry ran all over that football team. And I don't think T.J. Watt's healthy. They would be better just resting him, hoping for the best, and just get in healthy, get Pickens back. And here's what else. I'm wondering if Pickens isn't like doing something here, just to say, miss me now, or maybe taking some sort of a temper tantrum. Come on, what is he, 23, 24? Get in the football game.
Well, the interesting part is, it used to be you could say, hey, I got a hamstring issue, and there was no way of proving yes or no, and a guy could do that. Now with the MRI and things of that nature, they can actually, more truly evaluate whether a player does have an issue like that. So I wouldn't put it past George Pickens to say, hey, look how important I am to the team. But I don't think that is what happened in this situation. That game came down to a whole bunch of crazy things. They are hurt. Their defensive backfield is really torn up, and losing Joey Porter looks like it's going to be a little bit longer term. That's really going to impact them significantly.
Patrick Mahomes had a high ankle sprain, and he threw a touchdown pass 36 yards, and they won again. Come on. It's football. I'm sorry. I also think they're doing a little patronizing Mr. Pickens because they know that this football team is mediocre. If Burrows actually has some people playing with him this year, the Steelers are an afterthought.
Well, the biggest problem that the Steelers had is that it was unbeknownst to the general public, but they signed Pat Narduzzi as a special consultant.
That's the pick coach for those of you keeping score at home.
Because things were going so well, they didn't want to. They decided they wanted to end their season just as Pitt did. So they went, had a real nice beginning of the season, and then went completely flat.
Explain to me, because you're the NFL agent, Milk and Honey. Also handles Dua Lipa, which you promised to introduce me to her someday. But anyway.
As soon as I get introduced, I'll bring her down.
Thank you. Bring her in to co-host the show.
Yeah.
How do you get a quarterback? Sam Darnold's not going to stay in Minnesota, but I still don't believe in Sam Darnold. I think he's the right system, a good offensive-minded head coach, hint, hint. I don't know what they do. This could be the beginning of a free fall for the Pittsburgh Steelers unless Ben, whether you liked him or not, was a great quarterback. I don't know if that's a once-in-a-lifetime type of thing, I'm even watching North Dakota State thinking, well, maybe there's the next quarterback. They've got to find a quarterback, Greg. They've got to find a quarterback.
Well, Kirk Cousins is probably going to become available now that Atlanta's pulling
Achilles,
the plug.
He's not coming back. That's the problem with Aaron Rodgers.
Well,
I even thought Aaron Rodgers,
answer.
he's done too. Huh?
You've got your answer, and it's Fields.
I think it is, but everybody that's more knowledgeable than me, and that's really just about anybody, I'm a fan, and maybe that's the problem here. They've all said to me he's not the answer either, but I think he's the best chance you have.
He was a first pick. He didn't really do anything wrong in Chicago to lose that situation. He had some multiple turnovers, too many turnovers. Well, you get too many turnovers with the guy that's at quarterback now. I think they pulled the plug on Fields too soon when they pulled the plug on him. And then Wilson looked great because he was playing poor competition. Now you get to the part of the season where we all talked about this when the year started. The first 8 games, they weren't playing anybody. We knew they needed to be 6-2 at the end of those first 8 games of the schedule, which they did. So they're really doing what everybody predicted them to do, and that was play great, and then hopefully you had enough from the beginning to back yourself into the playoffs, which they're in the playoffs, so they're going to do what they always do. They'll end up with 10-8 or 11-11.
No, they're 10-5 now.
I thought they had 11 wins, but anyway, yeah, they're 10-5 because they're tied with the Ravens. So they'll end up with a winning record. Everybody, Mike Tomlin can say, "I never had a losing season." And they'll lose the first round of the playoffs, and they'll be done.
This is where I point the finger to the fans. Okay, I'm working, but this Christmas Day game, they better have that place packed, and they better be hooping and hollering and waving those terrible towels, because if there was ever a time to try to rise to the occasion and do the unthinkable, knock off the greatest player in the game and your guy, that is Travis Kelce, now is the time. Steelers, the only way they get mentally prepared to actually have a deep run is by beating Kansas City. The season isn't in the postseason. It's this week, this Wednesday, Christmas Day, Kansas City, Netflix.
But how are you going to do it? You're more hurt than you were. You were hurt going into yesterday, and now you're even more hurt.
They need juice. They need the fans. They need something. Look, how do you think I've done this show for 40 years?
Well,
there were times I wasn't feeling very well either. I had an ankle fusion. I came to work. I had the flu. I came to work. My goodness, I'm not making a couple of million for every second I'm on the field. Some of these players have to dig deep, and the fans have to get behind them. They have to win Wednesday. If they get blown out Wednesday, don't even make plans to even have a home or away tailgate other than one playoff game.
Well, a blowout's not going to happen because the Chiefs don't blow anybody out anymore. It's going to be a close game.
You realize what the final score of that game was yesterday. And if you had your druthers, Lamar Jackson, who never plays good against the Steelers, or Patrick Mahomes, if you saw what Jackson did to him, get ready, because Pat Mahomes can do the exact same thing.
Well, there's no... all right, who would you rather have, Mahomes or Jackson?
Pat Mahomes. Anybody, I'd take him over Josh Allen, anyone. Anybody that would even think of choosing anyone else, you better go see someone who says, lie down on the couch.
I'll tell you what, Lamar Jackson might have the greatest arm in the history of the game, and that includes Elway, Marino, and all those other guys. The ball just comes off of his hand.
It's beautiful.
It's unreal.
He's an incredible athlete, but he's not Pat Mahomes going for 3 Super Bowls.
And he doesn't always direct it the right way.
And he doesn't have Travis Kelce, who is still highly underrated. He is. He finds a way.
He's sneaking up on you now. Now it's beautiful because people are double teaming him. Now they're going to start getting off of him. Wait till the playoff. Wait till you see what kind of numbers he puts up in the playoffs.
Listen, if he decides to maybe go half throttle, I'll go to Coons Market and buy every box of cereal with his brother and him on it. You know what I mean? For a college fund for future kids with what's her name? Taylor Swift.
Yeah, what's her name?
That was a joke.
I know.
All right, we're going to break, but you have to admit, that was really disappointing. I was very sad and disappointed with that performance yesterday.
I thought they were going to be in good shape, going into halftime. I thought everything was going to be okay.
Six. Come on, Greg. That pick six.
Although I forgot the guy's name. He had it at the tip of my tongue. He's kind of taunting on his way into the end zone. Not a smart move to do against the Pittsburgh Steelers. That karma comes back and gets you. If the Steelers get them again in the playoffs, they'll be going after number 44.
Everything I just said negative, I've changed my mind. I'm back on the Steelers bandwagon.
There you go.
No.
Right.
Listen, I love them, but I have to be honest. That was pitiful. And for this team to be competitive moving forward, they've got to get a quarterback. I don't know how they do it, but they got to get a quarterback. I hope it would be Justin Fields, but I don't think they're going to go there. So if not him, you better find one, because Russell Wilson, with all due respect, first ballot Hall of Famer, this ain't Seattle, but we are sleepless in Seattle with him at quarterback. All right, coming back, we've got lots to get to. Ricky Henderson, his incredible legacy. The Pitt women's volleyball team, what an incredible run they had. And yes, some college football playoff news, along with that second hour that's dedicated to the NFL as we pick our weekly winners against the spread via BetRivers.net. We'll be back. It's your Pratt Pack.